You've been seeing it in your mind's eye, again and again. You close your eyes, summon the emotion, build the scene, feel the future as if it's already here. And then, nothing, or maybe something flickers for a moment. A sign, a shift, a brief confirmation, and before you know it, you're back in the same loop, the same thoughts, the same frequency, the same familiar version of you. If you've ever wondered why your visions feel powerful but rarely land, here's the truth most people never hear. Visualization doesn't manifest reality. Frequency does. There's a quantum difference between imagining your future and broadcasting it, between seeing what you want and becoming the one who already lives it. Visualization is only the spark, not the fire. The real ignition, the hidden code, is your frequency, because no matter how vivid your visions are, if your vibration doesn't match the reality you're calling in, it remains just beyond your reach. You've been told, ask, believe, receive, but the quantum field doesn't respond to requests. It responds to coherence, to the energetic integrity of your being, not the signal you send when you meditate, but the one you hold when no one's watching. In your breath, in your posture, in your tone, in the quiet choices that define your days. Because the universe isn't listening to what you say, it's listening to what you. That's the code. And once you understand it, once you feel how subtle the real shift is, everything begins to rearrange. Not because you tried harder, not because you thought more positively, but because you stopped chasing. You stopped asking. You stopped reinforcing the illusion that your dream life was somewhere else. Instead, you started treating it as what it has always been. A frequency, a state of being, a vibration you can step into right now. And this frequency, the one that unlocks the reality you've been visualizing, isn't abstract. It's tangible. You can feel it. It has a texture, a calm certainty, a steady rhythm. It doesn't rush. It doesn't crave. It doesn't wonder when things will shift, because it already knows they have. It already knows. Because when you act from the identity of someone who has already received, the field reorganizes because it must. That's how energy works. That's how coherence commands reality. So why does this shift feel so hard? Why is it effortless to see a beautiful future, but difficult to hold the energy of it's already mine? Because everything in your past has trained you to vibrate at the frequency of not yet. You've been programmed to wait, to prove, to earn, to deserve. And now, for the first time, you're being asked to abandon all of that, to step into a state that feels impossibly foreign, to become what you used to chase. At first, it feels false, like pretending, but that's only because your body hasn't yet learned what your soul has always known. Your nervous system is still calibrated to survival, while your spirit is calibrated to truth. And part of this journey, this awakening, is teaching your body what your soul remembers. You're not chasing your future anymore. You're remembering your alignment with it. You might ask, but how do I hold that frequency when nothing around me has changed yet? The answer is simple. But it isn't easy. You become the change first. You decide that your vibration leads, and the evidence follows. You shift your attention from what's missing to what's already here, from what you want to what you are. And when you do this, again and again, something begins to root deep within you, a new baseline. One that doesn't collapse when life gets loud. One that doesn't dissolve when fear visits again. It becomes who you are. It becomes home. That's when the field starts to bend toward you, not because you forced it, but because you finally matched it. That's what we're diving into here. Not the concept of manifestation, but the living frequency of embodiment. How to step out of the cycle of lack and into the vibration of having. How to act as if, without pretending. How to move through your day like it's all ready yours, not to convince the universe, but to live in harmony with it. Because there is a rhythm, a precise energetic code that governs creation. And once you learn how to tune into it, everything begins to shift, gently, steadily, undeniably. So the question now is simple. Are you ready to remember what it feels like to vibrate in perfect resonance with the life your heart has been showing you all along? Then let's begin. Here's what you need to understand from the start. The quantum field doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. It doesn't decode your vision board. It doesn't weigh your intentions. It doesn't care how many times you've said your affirmations out loud. It only listens to one thing: the vibration you broadcast consistently. And that vibration doesn't come from your goals. It comes from your identity, not the identity you speak about, but the one you live from, the one that quietly decides how you walk into a room, how you hold your shoulders when you're uncertain, how you breathe when nobody's watching. Because in the quantum world, reality isn't something you chase. It's something you emit. It's not given to you. It's generated through you. So, what does that mean in real life? It means if you visualize abundance, but contract every time you spend money, your field is registering fear, not wealth. If you visualize love, but turn away when someone compliments you, or keep your heart guarded, the field registers resistance, not connection. If you visualize expansion, but keep speaking about your limitations, the field doesn't hear your vision, it hears your vibration. Because the field doesn't interpret words, it reads coherence. That's why so many seekers feel stuck. They're doing all the right things: meditating, journaling, scripting, visualizing, but nothing anchors. Why? Because their thoughts and emotions are out of sync. They're trying to manifest from the mind, while the body is still humming the old frequency of fear, unworthiness, survival. And when the signal is split, the field mirrors back static. It has no clear instruction. But here's the shift. The moment your thoughts, emotions, and actions begin to say the same thing, the field stabilizes around that signal. It locks in. It harmonizes. That's coherence. And coherence is creation. In that state, your frequency becomes steady, magnetic, precise. Reality starts to rearrange itself because your vibration leaves no room for contradiction. Think of it this way. Desire without identity is just noise. But when your identity and your desire merge, when you stop asking and start being, your signal turns pure, strong, and undeniable. And in that clarity, the field doesn't respond to hope. It responds to certainty. So how do you step into that certainty? Especially when there's no evidence yet. You create the evidence, not out there. In here, you begin to become the proof you've been waiting for. You start showing up as the version of you who already lives inside the reality you've been visualizing. You stop waiting to feel successful and begin being successful in the way you walk, speak, breathe, and think, not because you're pretending, but because you're remembering. You're remembering the self that existed before the doubt. Neville Goddard called it living from the end. Dr. Joe Dispenza calls it firing and wiring new patterns into your brain and nervous system. Greg Braden calls it emotional coherence. Different languages, same truth. You stop trying to become. You start being. That's the quantum frequency we're talking about. Not something to chase, but something to inhabit again and again until your entire system recognizes it as home, until your self-talk no longer sabotages it, until your body stops bracing for disappointment, until it feels so natural that you can't even remember what lack used to sound like. And yes, this part takes courage. Because stepping into that version of yourself before the world confirms it can feel disorienting, lonely, even fake. But that discomfort isn't failure. It's your past identity, trying to protect its place in your energy field. So let it speak, acknowledge it, thank it, but don't let it drive. You are the signal now. You are the calibration point. You are the source of the shift, not the result of it. This isn't about performing confidence. It's about feeling safe in certainty. It's about training your system to rest in the vibration of enough, because when your subconscious feels safe, your energy expands. And when your energy expands, the field can finally respond, not to your effort, but to your embodied coherence. So if you've been trying, pushing, looping, and still not breaking through, let that go. You're not here to work harder for your dreams. You're here to remember that the version of you who already lives them isn't far away. It's not hiding. It's simply vibrating at a different frequency, a steadier, calmer, more embodied one. And that version of you, it already knows how to move, how to decide, how to feel as if it's done. Because for them, it is. Now it's time to meet them. We've arrived at the point where most people misunderstand the process, the moment everything actually shifts. 2 words, acting as if those words have been twisted, mocked, oversimplified. They sound like pretending, like performing for the universe, like putting on a mask and hoping it believes you. But that's not what it means. Acting as if isn't pretending. It's frequency training. When you act as if it's already yours, you're not playing make-believe. You're aligning your physical energy, your body, with the vibration of your desired reality before the evidence appears. You're not asking for proof, you're becoming the proof. And in doing so, you send one clear, unwavering message to the field. I'm ready. I've arrived. Match me. Of course, this isn't easy. Your outer world might still echo the old self. The same bank balance, the same people, the same patterns. And yet, you're being invited to act from the new frequency anyway, because that's how energy collapses into form, not through waiting, through identity. So, how do you do it? Start small. You don't need to rebuild your life overnight. You just need to move through your day differently, with subtle, deliberate coherence. It's in the way you talk about yourself, the way you hold your body, the way you breathe before you speak. It's in the way you respond when something good happens. Do you receive it fully, or question if it's real? Every micro-expression, every breath, every reaction tells the field what you believe you deserve. If you were already living your highest reality, how would you wake up tomorrow? How would you walk into the world? How would you eat, breathe, dress, create, love, even when no one was watching? This isn't about aesthetics. It's about energetic posture. Would you still shrink your presence in certain rooms? Would you still apologize for your truth? Would you still betray your intuition to keep the peace? Or would you begin to choose like someone who trusts, someone who doesn't need to chase the dream because they've become the version of themselves who already lives it? That's the power of acting as if it's not performance, it's embodiment. And when you shift your signal in this way, with honesty, repetition, and reverence, everything downstream begins to adjust. The field, loyal to coherence, starts to organize around you. Life bends toward your new frequency, not because you forced it, but because you finally matched it. That's why some call this quantum shifting, because every subtle choice you make, every thought, every word, every pause is like a pebble dropped into the infinite field, sending ripples far beyond what your eyes can see. So instead of asking, when will it happen? Ask, how would I move today if I already knew it had? That's where behavior stops being reactive and starts becoming magnetic. When your words, tone, and presence begin to match the reality you've been visualizing, you're no longer chasing alignment. You're alignment. You're not attracting your dream, you're emitting it. And then something wild happens. The field responds. People start treating you differently. New ideas flow in with ease. Synchronicities multiply. The timing of life feels almost too precise to be coincidence. It's not luck, it's resonance. You've stopped leaking energy into someday and started embodying now. This right here is coherence. This is what manifestation actually looks like in motion. Not forcing, not pleading, not manifesting harder, just broadcasting the clean, stable frequency your future self has already mastered. Of course, your mind will try to interrupt. It will whisper, but we don't have that yet. Aren't you being unrealistic? What if this doesn't work? That isn't truth. That's your past, the voice of a timeline, trying to keep its place in your energy field. Let it speak, then keep moving. Because this isn't about convincing the world. It's about training your field to finally believe what your soul already knows. So today, speak one sentence like it's already done. Make one choice like it's already here. Take one breath, one step, one action from the frequency of already mine. Because the more you act like it's already yours, the more the field believes you. And when the field believes you, reality bends. And then something starts to shift. You're calmer. You're not forcing, but flowing. Your thoughts quiet down. Your nervous system relaxes. You stop needing proof. You start feeling it instead. And then it happens. The field sends a sign. A number appears again and again. On receipts, on clocks, on license plates. You weren't even looking for it. And that's exactly why it came. It's not random. It's resonance. It's the field's way of saying, you're in sync. It's a vibrational mirror. a soft confirmation from the universe that your frequency has locked into alignment. You didn't chase the sign. You became the signal, and the sign simply reflected it back. Because the field never responds to neediness, it responds to resonance. And 7 doesn't appear as a lucky sign. It appears as a mirror. It only shows up when your frequency has stabilized deeply enough for the quantum to whisper back, "I hear you." You've become the signal. It's not announcing that your manifestation is on the way. It's confirming that you've already tuned into it. That the energetic seed you planted long ago, sometimes with focused intention, sometimes in quiet surrender, has begun to vibrate at the frequency of bloom. In nearly every spiritual tradition, the number 7 has carried sacred weight. The vibration of divine truth, intuition, inner mastery, completion. But when it triples, it transcends numerology. It becomes a quantum signature, not of perfection, but of coherence. It's the signal that your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions are finally speaking the same language. You're no longer trying to manifest a reality from a nervous system that feels unsafe to receive it. You're no longer visualizing with your mind while your heart still hums with doubt. You've reached a state of internal congruence, not flawless, but steady enough for the universe to take shape around your rhythm. In quantum terms, 7 appears when the wave of potential is on the verge of collapse, when infinite probabilities begin bending toward one clear outcome. The one you've been calling in through your steadiness, your emotion, your trust. The field isn't responding to your wish. It's responding to your signal. And that's what 777 really is. Not a reward, but a resonance echo. It's not giving you something new. It's reflecting what you've already become. This is where many people misread the moment. They see 777 and think, it's done. Time to relax. But this is not the finish line. It's the threshold. This is the moment to anchor deeper, not drift away. Because 777 is not an ending. It's an invitation. It's the field whispering. Don't let go now. Hold the current steady. You've aligned the signal. Now, keep stabilizing it. Stay coherent. Stay present. Stay grounded. Let the field keep syncing with you without interruption. You've heard people say, manifestations happen suddenly. But in truth, nothing in the quantum is ever sudden. What looks instant in the physical world was building quietly and in the inevitable long before. 7 marks that inflection point, the delicate balance between intention and inevitability, between asking and allowing, between who you were and who you've finally become, the place where your reality stops coming toward you and begins to form around you. That's what 777 truly marks. Not just alignment, but embodiment. Not a cosmic nod from above, but an invitation from within. An invitation to deepen your presence, to stop searching and start inhabiting. So pause. Right now, feel into your body. Notice the rhythm of your breath, the quiet hum beneath your skin. Ask yourself, is this how the version of me who already lives that reality would feel? Would they rush? Would they question? Or would they trust the structure quietly forming beneath the surface? Because that's what this is, a structural shift. You're not manifesting an outcome anymore. You're rewiring your foundation. You're recalibrating how you think, how you speak, how you decide. The field isn't responding to your wish list. It's responding to your identity. The number isn't predicting what's next. It's confirming what's here. And if something inside you recognizes this, not just in concept, but in energy, if your body tingles, your chest softens, your intuition whispers yes, then take a slow, steady breath and let yourself receive it. Let your nervous system feel safe in this confirmation. Let your heart rest in the knowing that you're not becoming aligned. You are aligned. The shift isn't approaching, it's stabilizing. What you visualized isn't a dream waiting somewhere out there. It's a frequency you've finally tuned into. And if you want to make that resonance real, not just within yourself, but in the collective field we share right now, type 767 below. Not as superstition, not as a lucky charm, but as a declaration. I feel it. I remember. I am aligned. Because sometimes numbers are just numbers, and sometimes they're language, a mirror, a code. a truth your soul is finally ready to speak. No one may have told you this, but manifestation has never been the art of getting what you want. It's the art of remembering who you are, every frequency you've ever chased. Abundance, peace, purpose, love was never waiting outside you. It's always been within you, waiting not to be earned, but to be stabilized. And the truth is, you've touched it before. You've felt it. Those fleeting moments when time dissolved, when effort disappeared, when everything just clicked into place, and you were at peace for no reason at all. Those weren't accidents. They were glimpses, echoes of the reality you're now ready to live. Those moments when your heart opened without permission, when words poured through you effortlessly, when you made a choice that felt guided by something beyond logic. Those were never coincidences. They were previews of the self you're becoming, and the life that version of you naturally attracts. Quantum manifestation isn't about forcing those moments to happen more often. It's about expanding your capacity to stay in them, to make those states your baseline, to become the kind of person who no longer has to visualize, because you're already vibrating with what you used to imagine. And no, this shift won't arrive in a single flash of revelation, but it will unfold quietly, unmistakably, in the subtle ways reality begins to respond. A conversation that lands in perfect resonance, a calm presence where anxiety used to live, a decision made without overthinking, because your intuition spoke first, and you listened. These are not random moments. They are evidence, proof that your signal is stabilizing, that you're no longer reaching for the field. You're merged with it. You've stopped orbiting around your potential and started radiating from it. Your frequency no longer negotiates with the past. It just is. But remember, the old identity will still whisper. It'll say, "You're not ready. Who do you think you are? You need proof first." Those echoes are not your truth. They're the memory of who you used to be. And every time they arise, you face the same sacred choice. Do I replay the old timeline, or do I hold the new one even for one more breath? That one breath is everything. That's where your power lives now. Not in how loudly you speak or how much you do, but in how consistently you stay in the energy of already mine. Not to impress, not to prove, but because that's simply who you are now. You're not looking for signs anymore. You are the sign. You're not performing worthiness. You're embodying it. And the universe, it doesn't need convincing. It never did. It simply responds to coherence, to truth, to alignment. This is what true manifestation means. Not bending the world to your will, but refining your inner frequency so precisely that the world can't help but mirror you back, clearly, faithfully, beautifully. We're remembering, not concepts, not theories, but ourselves. Because manifestation was never about manipulating matter. It was about dissolving resistance, about clarifying your signal until the noise disappears, about collapsing the static between your highest self and the reality you've already created in potential. And when that alignment happens, something profound takes its place. Not fireworks, not adrenaline, but peace. A peace so steady it feels unfamiliar at first, because for the first time, you're no longer chasing, you're allowing, you're receiving, you're watching your own frequency return to you in the form of people, opportunities, synchronicities, beauty you didn't have to force. That is the real shift, when manifestation stops feeling like a pursuit and starts feeling like coming home. And the more you return to that space, again and again, the more your nervous system learns it's safe to live here. Not just to visit the frequency of alignment, but to reside in it, because life doesn't have to be perfect for you to be coherent. Coherence means your peace no longer depends on the external. You've internalized the field. You've learned to trust it, and now it trusts you back. So take a breath, not a shallow one, a real one. Let it land. Let this truth settle into your body, not as something you need to memorize, but as something you've always known. Feel your energy soften into that knowing, the knowing that you've already changed. You're not waiting for the quantum shift. You are the quantum shift. And if something in these words met you right where you are, if it felt like remembering a truth you've always carried just out of reach, then maybe this isn't a video at all. Maybe it's a mirror, a reflection of the self you're already stepping into, a reminder that the frequency you've been visualizing was never hypothetical. It's vibrational, and you're living in it now. So if this resonance feels real, if your body recognizes this energy as home, then stay connected. Not because you have to, but because it aligns. This isn't a channel, it's a frequency. And if you found yourself breathing differently while listening, then you're already inside it. We're not just watching videos here. We're practicing new timelines. We're not just consuming information. We're co-creating reality. Together, we are the field remembering itself. Welcome home to Coherence. Welcome home to your new frequency. We're collapsing possibility into form. Every word, every breath, every choice. An act of creation in motion. We're not here to learn how to become. We're here to remember that we already are, and I'm truly glad you're here, in this moment, on this frequency, part of this unfolding. Let's keep shifting together, one breath, one thought, one vibration at a time.